Paradox, dichotomy, perspective change. Hi, I'm Nick, former medical doctor turned soul doctor. I run Ohana Breath, Ohana Sage, and I've actually got Bitcoin Breath as well, so we'll see how that goes. This video may be a little controversial, it may be a little challenging, and I'll see how far down the rabbit hole I can get with you. Because growing up, I thought there was a black and white, a right and wrong, a way to go, a way to win. A way to win this game of life. I'd just be smart enough, predict enough, know enough, learn enough. And as I get older, I realize, whew, I was so full of it. And more than that, it's been funny to see how perspectives, stances, truths that I held have changed 180. And it's not that I now hold the truth, but I realize that I hold the idea of truth a lot more fluidly. And I say that because what I'm saying now, I'm saying to plant seeds, not because I'm trying to convince, change minds, or tell you something. And how do we do that? And I don't even know if you're listening. It's all good. It doesn't matter if you do or if you don't. Those who follow will follow. And so I grew up thinking big government, more taxes, money bad, or too much money bad, or excess money bad, lower pollution, more technology, more automaticity. Let's see here. What else is there? Low fat, low sugar, liberal, more education, Western healthcare, pharmaceuticals. We knew so much about disease already and healing and health, vaccinations, public school system, sunshine, bad, ultraviolet radiation, bad, microwaves, good, convenient, video games, great, computers, great, exercise, good, work hard, good, doesn't matter when you eat, doesn't matter how you eat, doesn't matter with who you eat, discount meat, good, cheaper food, good, buffets, amazing, eat as much as you can, finish your plate all the time, never waste food, buying a house, good, prices of houses, a house should cost less than $500,000, you know, so an apartment should cost less than $100,000. Banks, safe place to put money. Always get prime interest rate for loans. All these things. So I say all these things and you'll be like, do you think differently for all of them? It's like, I definitely think differently. It may not be what you expect. I'm going to go in one route which illustrates that, but isn't the truth of it, because politics isn't where I really play now, and I could speak a lot more about that differently. But I always voted liberal growing up. The province I grew up in, Prince Edward Island, was always liberal, for the Senate at least. And then at one point during my residency, it was Jack Layton. I was inspired by him, so I voted NDP. And then he died, and I was like, now what? I was like, I'm gonna vote Green. So I voted Green because I thought, oh, they're here for green policies. And I was like, wait, that doesn't seem to make any sense. And then I went back to liberal because like, oh man, Justin Trudeau, amazing, liberal. Oh, Donald Trump got elected, I cried. And then most recently, funny enough, I voted conservative. I was like, what is going on with this monetary policy where people think that they can just keep spending, where we're doing all these things which don't make sense to me. At first it did, this whole diversity, equity, inclusion. I'm like, I'm a visible minority, even though I act and look and feel really white. Oh shit. But then it doesn't make sense. And then all this self-censoring, all this self-sabotage, all this cancellations. I was like, we can't talk about anything. And then all this gender stuff. I was like, wait, I can't even keep track of this stuff. Why am I trying to always look out for someone else's feelings when I have no trouble dealing with my own feelings? Okay. All right, how do we come back to first principles? And then thinking that I wanted everything to be electrified. I wanted everything to not be gasoline. And now I bought a V6 car for the last 3 or 4 cars because I love having a gasoline car. And then learning about the whole EMF fields that are given off by hybrids that are given off by electrical cars that we haven't figured out yet. We haven't actually optimized for the shielding of the human beings inside the car that may not actually benefit from having all these electrical fields and currents running around them directly. That's my thing. Aside from the fact that we already know that there's child exploitation, there's exploitation of the environment happening further away, we just don't get to see it here, so therefore we can ignore it. Rather than saying, how can we keep optimizing, not just for ourselves, but for the world? We're sitting in one of the most resource heavy countries, and I used to think, yeah, let's not cut down the trees and all that stuff, but if we don't manage things, if we don't learn to work with nature, nature will do something anyway. And so forest fires are going out of control, and we keep having more and more fire brands and more firefighters. It makes zero sense. But we've gotten onto the rhetoric that we can't seem to get off the rhetoric train. And I'm adding this to show how I've had to go complete 180s. And through this process, I've had to go through depression, I've had to go through trauma, suicidality, anxiety, I've had to go through my disease states. I used to have asthma for until 38 years of my life, have antibiotics twice a year, thinking it was me being weak, almost always dying, having to rely on medications, and then finding a process of healing where I could realize there was so much underlying stress, grief, energy stored, and then finally letting it go, and then creating daily practices, patterns, integration, so that now it's been, 7, 8 years of living without Western pharmaceutical medications. Not that I'm better than, but I'm living more in harmony with my body. And I say this because it's the paradox. I thought that was impossible. I thought people were crazy. I thought breath workers were crazy. I thought ceremonialists were crazy. I thought people who told me it was possible were crazy. And I had to learn. And I had to unlearn what I thought was true to make space for this. And I say this because I used to think that paradox is a bad thing, that dichotomy was a bad thing, that other people were idiots. And now I can realize, oh, I am now the person I used to call an idiot. So the people I call idiots now, are they actually idiots? Are they just seeing things differently? And how do I see the pure genius in everyone? And I tell so many people, you are brilliant, you are smart. Not because I'm trying to placate them, but because I can actually see their smarts now. Whereas before I can only see their idiocy. And now I'm better able to see my smarts, which weren't where they used to be. I used to thought it was all about my ability to calculate, to reason, to predict, to remember. And I've lost so much in those aspects. But sometimes the intuition really comes through then, that base knowledge that's there. And I say all this because you'll see that long list I gave earlier. I thought higher taxes are better. I thought wealth redistribution is better. Until I realize now whoever's doing the wealth distribution, if they're not actually clear on themselves, on their goals, on what they're optimizing for, often it's for more selfish reasons, often it's more for ego. How many times have I told someone a story because I wanted them to hear that story, because I had shame, guilt, fear if they heard something else? Even as simple as, did you clean the toilet? Yes. And then the idea of food, I was eating low fat, I was eating low meat, I thought we need to go all vegetarian, I wanted to buy Beyond Meats, I wanted to buy Beyond Burgers, and then realizing, wait, this is ridiculous. Why are we trying to imitate meat with artificial stuff when really good meat is possible? I just forgotten about what the importance of how the animal's being treated, grass-fed, free range, how this factory farming is really killing us because it's putting us inside the factory as well. How living in these condos, I'm now living on the top floor of a building with a rooftop patio, which to me before was having made it. When we bought our first townhouse, I was actually wanting the rooftop instead because it felt more luxurious, it felt more exclusive, it felt more upscale, and now I feel ungrounded. I feel like I'm in a minimum security prison. It makes zero sense to me, but I'm going to stay here until I figure out what's next because I'm trying to create the clarity. I used to think running around doing more was better. And I can hear it now when people say, why do you want more energy? So I can do more of what I'm already doing, but you're miserable doing that and you want more of that misery. So I'm saying all this because I'm inviting people to take a look into their paradoxes, to take a look into their dichotomies, to have a perspective shift, to look into the school of unlearning. And I'm going to be doing things that are pure unlearning. I did it already. We lived in Hawaii for 3 months when it didn't make any sense to. We had a place here, all this stuff, but it made sense. We were in the sunshine way more. I've actually done 2 science projects on ultraviolet radiation, the invisible killer, and the invisible killer part 2. And not that they were bad experiments. I just had a premise that was already geared a certain way, rather than realizing now we have ultraviolet receptors in our skin, in our eyes, and if we get more full body exposure, if let's stay with I get full body exposure, I feel better. I love building up the solar callus. I haven't used sunscreen in years now, and I used to use it religiously, not even thinking, is this actually the way I want to go? Or just the way I've been told? I did an experiment on cereals, look at which one had the least sugar. But it wasn't even that. What's the point of cereal in the first place? It wasn't a food I enjoyed. It wasn't a way I wanted to start the day. So much marketing to create that. And so now I'm taking a look back. What do I really enjoy? What do I really want? What do I really see? What do I don't see? What am I not enjoying that I'm supposed to enjoy? How am I living right now that I don't want to live? And there's so many ways that I'm doing that still. So there's so much unlearning that's still going to happen. And especially if I get any comments posted on here and you want me to explore any more of the topics, I'll explore them. I just don't want to create this video to be like 50 minutes long. And recognize that more and more videos are going to be released and comments are going to help direct where am I going to go next with these. And there are going to be different channels, different ways to do this. Different ways that we're getting clearer and clearer. So enjoy playing with all of the stories that are coming up. Ciao for now.